Selfless. I was slightly disappointed with this film. I had quite high expectations, and I feel like for a thriller it was quite predictable. But then again, I also acknowledge the fact that I have seen and read a lot of thrillers now, so maybe it was just a format that I was used to and wasn't actually that predictable. But because I was used to the format being used, I could predict what was going to happen. So if that makes sense to anyone. Before I get carried away, I'd just like to say that I'm going to try to keep this as spoiler free as possible, but there probably will be a few sort of trailer like spoilers. So if you're one of those people that doesn't really like the spoiler amount in trailers, then this wouldn't be one for you. I'm afraid your review should stop now. However, if you don't mind the sort of like watching the trailer beforehand, basically I will be saying nothing in this review that isn't already shown in the trailer. That's basically what I'm trying to get at here. So predominantly, firstly I really wanted to see it because I was really excited by the fact that Ben Kingsley was in it. I think Ben Kingsley is a fantastic actor. I'm not a huge fan of Ryan Reynolds, but I do think he's competent, and so that didn't really bother me at all. Actually, Ryan Reynolds' performance kind of surprising in this film, because obviously due to the plot he's basically having to portray two different characters, sometimes almost simultaneously in each other, and just the way he acts and carries himself, I could see a clear difference basically between the two characters being portrayed. So I thought that was quite impressive, and I was pleased with his performance. However, I felt like the storyline or the script was nothing exceptional. The idea, again, I suppose is somewhat unique, but nothing that really shocked me. I did quite like the concept going in. Basically, for anyone that doesn't know, it's predominantly about transferring a mind to another body. So great minds can predominantly live forever. So Ben Kingsley's character is dying of cancer, but is exceptionally wealthy and a great architect. And so he's contacted by this program. He gets to transfer his brain into another body, which happens to be Ryan Reynolds. So he's now more physically fit and active and a lot younger, and can now kind of live the life of his dreams, sort of be very promiscuous and drink a lot, and he can now eat things with nuts in because he had a nut allergy, and that's made his... I think basically he gets to live this whole new life with this really fit and healthy person. But then something starts to go wrong, and he starts getting memories back from the body that he's now using. At first he didn't realise that the bodies were harvested. He thought they were just grown from scratch, and they're not. There's someone else's body, and basically their mind, their soul, their memories, whatever you want to call it, is repressed. And therefore he's kind of... Ben Kingsley's character now in Ryan Reynolds' body is having to deal with the fact that Ryan Reynolds' character, who previously owned Ryan Reynolds' body, doesn't really want to give up that easily, and there's a conflict between them, and he doesn't really know what to do, and he ends up putting Ryan Reynolds' original wife and daughter in danger. That's basically the premise of the film. He then has to sort of find a way, because he doesn't really know. Basically the whole film is the flip of the coin. Obviously if he gives up this body, then he's going to die, but if he doesn't get the body, then Ryan Reynolds' character is going to die, and it's kind of a conflict, and the age-old argument of should we basically allow the rich to live forever, or does everybody just have to sort of accept their natural cause and die when their time comes. I can't think of a better way to phrase that, but yeah, basically should we just die? Should we keep trying to find ways to prolong life, because eventually it will be the rich living forever and the poor dying quite quickly. So it's those issues the film tries to deal with and address. They're quite age-old issues. They've been addressed in quite a few different films. Ones that I can think of were called to mind quite instantly is the About Time one with Amanda Seyfried and Justin Timberlake in. Similar sort of premise. Only difference is you're now not actually using time on wrists and exchange and things like that, and it's not used as a currency, but instead you've got the whole being transferred into another body, but potentially the transfers are limitless kind of thing. So it's that kind of argument, but it felt very sort of similar to a lot of things. Someone getting their memories back. Their memories is another thing that I'm used to seeing quite a lot. The plot was, as I said, nothing exceptional. From the trailer alone, I pretty much knew what was going to happen. And there was one moment that slightly surprised me, but again, I caught on to that very quickly. I didn't feel like there was enough shock factor or anything that was genuinely surprising enough to really keep me going. It was well acted, well produced. There was nothing wrong with the film. I just think for a thriller, it didn't have much substance to it, personally. Nothing really stands out from the film, if I'm honest. There isn't a moment or a scene that I can call to mind and think, wow, that's amazing. It's not one of those sort of films which I thought it was going to be, so I was disappointed with it. But at the end of the day, it's a decent film. I wouldn't recommend anyone seeing it at the cinema. I don't think it's needed, but if it's on TV, give it a watch. It's that kind of film. It's a watch on TV film, and I would probably give it about a 6 out of 10, if I'm being honest. But that's kind of what I thought of Selfless. If anyone else has seen the film, I would love to know what they thought about it. If you agree, disagree with me, whatever you think, leave it in the comments and I will have a look. But until next time,